Good afternoon. Welcome to the first podcast of Lakers Nation Philippines. I am Bert, the founding member of a founder of Lakers Nation Philippines. I'm joined here by my fellow co-founders of Lakers Nation Philippines, Andrea Hu from Twitter. Um,
Hello, hello.
she's based in Thailand, so also Lakers Nation Thailand,
Thailand.
and X Kennan X on Twitter. Um, Hi Kennan.
Yo, what's up?
He's from Visayas, so
Iloilo.
representing our um, Lakers Nation Visayas. So we decided to make a long overdue podcast. Lakers Nation Philippines or Lakers Nation PH has been existing since 2012 for 8 years. So we're excited to make a podcast now because not only because the Lakers just won the NBA title, but of course we wanted to talk more basketball now since of course the Lakers are NBA champions. I'm going to say this about 1,000 times today. So let's start with a quick review of the 2019-2020 season that almost took a year, well, literally a year
More
to
than
finish
Yeah.
because of the COVID pandemic. So let's talk about the start of the season pre-COVID. So Andrea, what was your take on the start of the season? So that's basically opening night, losing to the Clippers, and until after winning those back-to-back games against the Clippers and the Bucks, then losing to the Nets. So what's your impression on our team during that span?
Hi everyone. So actually for the start of the season, right? If you actually go back a little bit before the start of the first game, losing to the Clippers, if you think about it, the team was really very different in around May 2019. So before we got Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis, I think he was acquired July. So even just a year ago, the team was very different. So you have to appreciate that from the fact that we had Brandon Ingram, we had Lonzo Ball, in May and that was really the start of the preseason, the before the start of the 2019-2020 season. And then there was this whole chase for Kawhi Leonard. So boo Kawhi, he went to the Clippers. So you really had to see that the team looked very different coming into the season. Before the acquisition of Anthony Davis and before Kawhi officially went to the Clippers. And then when finally Kawhi Leonard actually went to the Clippers, then there was this parang the rush to put in all the players coming in to finalize the lineup. So I think when you look at it from that perspective, during the start of the season, obviously all the players didn't have that much of a chemistry initially, right? And even with Anthony Davis, you already see that he wasn't doing well, but also the I think he wasn't really locked in, or he didn't know the role the role itself yet. Parang hindi pa siya super final, or parang final dun sa role that he is playing. But he came into it, I think, middle of the season, right after the Christmas break. I think that was really when the Lakers hit the stride. And then after that, even before the pandemic happened, you already see the difference of the play of the Lakers. I was very confident that the Lakers would go, if not win the championship, but go deep into the playoffs, really, just because if you see how the Lakers played, even if in first quarter, second quarter, or third quarter, they weren't really performing, or they were just parang coasting. You knew in fourth quarter, LeBron is locked in, and you knew Anthony Davis would be locked in. So they were built like a playoff team talaga. And even during the losses to the Clippers, for example, even during Christmas Day, the loss to the Clippers, you also see that it's just like a matter of one or two players, the difference, and it was just like one player not going off that night. So that was how I saw the Lakers throughout the whole season. So it was very, I was very confident that that was very different from the, obviously from the years before, but also if you see the other teams playing during this season. So
Yeah.
that's my take on that.
Okay, before we move on, I would like to congratulate the Los Angeles Clippers for winning the Opening Day Championship and Christmas Day Championship for beating
And
the
Christmas
Lakers.
Day, I was so mad during that Christmas Day game.
Yeah.
I
So,
forgot about that.
Kennan, we have a lot of what do you call this narratives from media during the pre-COVID. They say the Lakers have never had an easy schedule, didn't face a team above 500. Um, oh well, the infamous Jackie McMullen, uh, Brian Windhorst, and Rachel Nichols. Uh,
I remember all of
who's
those.
gonna who's gonna stop with the Clippers? So,
Yeah.
so what were your thoughts during pre-COVID of the team?
To be completely honest, at the start of the year, I was a little bit traumatized from last year because we also started with promise. I mean, we were like the third seed, like a year ago
Yeah, 14.
in the previous years. So and we all know how that ended. So I think I just approached this season with cautious pessimism. Hindi ako nagpadala dun sa 8 game winning streak to start the year.
I think
Seven,
we were 8-1 or something,
yeah,
ninth
something like
one.
that.
The one was the Clippers
Yeah.
opening.
Yeah, opening the loss.
Yeah. Hindi ako nagpadala doon kasi it was a good start in last year, so I had no idea baka history repeats itself again. When the team uh, started playing cohesively, I think they had a 15-3 record when 2019 came to an end. You know, the whole decade started. They were the number one team in the West, second only to the Milwaukee Bucks. I think doon ako nag-start believing na hindi ito fluke and they're capable of doing special things. And you know, those narratives na sabi mo tulad ng soft schedule, hindi pa sila nakaka-face nung above 500 teams. Ano yun eh, ang parang selective kasi yung pino-point out nila na games when you check out the data, hindi naman
Yeah,
accurate. If you're an informed fan, hindi na dapat issue yun eh. Pero yung problem is paulit-ulit yung narrative, sobrang repetitive, and it gets really annoying. So I just really wanted the team to keep it up, and they did. It culminated with that back-to-back win against the Clippers and the Bucks. No, sobrang satisfying nun.
yeah. So, yeah, so dun talaga you thought when we finally beat the Clippers and the Bucks back to back.
That was super satisfying. I watched that live. Iba talaga yung feeling dun. Not gonna lie. After all these years.
So, yun nga eh, di ba parang nakakapanghinayang when if the season was canceled
Mm,
and those were our season highlights and
it was all for
so
nothing.
yeah, it was all for nothing kung hindi natuloy. So, um, so going to that, there was this LeBron James push for MVP. We just beat the Clippers and the Bucks back to back, diba? Tapos, uh, Giannis, I think, was injured. So, may chance na makahabol siya sa MVP nung time na yun.
Yeah.
So, uh, but well, COVID intervened and let's go to the bubble playoffs. So before the bubble playoffs pala, we actually played games in the bubble. Sort of meaningless games, but we had to lock the number one seed in order to before the
Yeah.
playoffs started. Yeah. So we narrowly defeated the Clippers
Yeah,
and
first game.
lost to the Raptors. Uh, lost to the Raptors, then routed the Jazz. Then I think we won against Denver in the
The
Cal Kuzma
Kuzma.
shot.
Kuzma
Kuzma
shot,
repeater.
yeah.
Yeah, we finished 3-5 in the bubble regular season, if you want, whatever you call it. So what were your
Seeding, yeah. The
yeah
seeding.
seeding games?
Games.
Mm.
Yeah, so Andrea, what's your so if you're before going to the bubble before pre-COVID, how confident were you? Scale of 10, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, that the Lakers will win the championship, especially
Oh,
after that Clippers game where
after
we
the Clippers game, actually, I was okay. I was quite confident, but not that confident. Parang siguro if I would put it 7, I would be in 7, even
ikaw,
after the games.
ikaw
Just because,
Kennan.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
pre-bubble,
pre-bubble, ah.
uh,
pre-bubble.
pre-bubble, even before the season restart, I was pretty high on the team. I would say 8 or 9. Super confident.
I was a 10, so yeah.
Wow.
I'm the most optimistic Laker fan here. So let's go to the bubble after the 3-5 start or end to the regular season. Let's say that. Andrea, were you worried?
No, not at all. No, 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 no. I
Wow.
thought that the Lakers. I felt like that did not. Those games didn't matter anyway. It was just a seeding. Those were seeding games, and I think during that time we didn't have Rondo as well. Rondo wasn't playing. Well, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, but he wasn't playing.
Depending on perspective.
It wasn't that serious. I didn't think of that at all. I didn't worry about it at all.
Okay, so Kenan, were you worried?
Uh,
Like some of the Lake friends and Lakers Twitter?
Not particularly, no. After the Lakers' win against the Clippers nung first game back from season suspension, I was okay with everything else. Parang
And during yeah,
parang big victory na to yun para sa akin. They can lose every other game after that sa regular season. I was fine with it. Number one, I just missed basketball at that point. Number two,
Yeah.
they beat the Clippers. Nothing else matters at the time.
and that was the time when Clippers were losing. So that was like just you were. I wasn't worried at all. Yeah.
Parang for me, it was more of an exhibition series for the Lakers, yung remaining 8 games.
Yeah, I was sort of worried in the sense that since bubble basketball doesn't have fans, so there's no crowd. So the role players, I was worried na yung mga role players ng ibang teams would have no pressure playing in the playoffs, like mga Gary Trent, mga Ludort, mga ganon. They were like hitting all these shots against the Lakers nung bubble, and it was like, uh, will they outperform the Lakers? Kasi mawawala yung championship, parang yung factor ng championship experience since wala nang crowd. So, I was a little worried, pero yung effort nila mukha naman half. They didn't want to be injured. So, when we secured the 1 seed, talagang parang pa-jogging-jogging na lang sila.
It was apparent
So,
coasting.
yeah. And then the playoffs came around. And we were facing the Portland Trailblazers, the red hot Portland Trailblazers. And the media's narrative was, can the will the Lakers lose to the Blazers? Blazers in 6. Who's gonna stop Damian Lillard, who's hitting
Secret
50,
trio.
40-foot 3-point shots? And it didn't help that we lost game one. So after we lost game one, how worried were you, Andrea?
I was worried. So for this one, I was worried just because the Blazers were coming off a very hot streak, right? So they were, and then parang this was right after the whole Paul George and Damian Lillard
Yeah,
fight on social media. So I think Lillard was like trying to prove everyone something else. Like he was really out there with a chip on his shoulder. So I was worried. I was worried a little bit, especially after game one, and you saw the weakness of Lakers that they didn't really have any, like they didn't have that much of a reliable shooter during that game. During that game, no 3 point shots were coming in, were being shot or coming into the ring, diba? So I was a little bit worried. Then the next few games happened. Then game two, game three, and then I was like, okay, Blazers, they're not big enough. They just had Lillard, and then McCollum was also not his 100%, but it didn't really matter because in the end they were just too small. They didn't have enough firepower with them.
Okay,
Yun.
so Kennan, were you worried?
I
Worried.
was more frustrated than worried. Yeah, I was worried din. Ano kasi, I'm sure I'm not the only one frustrated. Yung players, I'm sure they were super frustrated as well. And I was thinking na baka yung frustration nila would get worse in the bubble setting. Tapos di na sila makapag-focus. Hindi na yung as sharp yung play nila. That was, I guess, my main worry at the time. But then game two happened.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yun nga yung sinasabi ko kanina na yung the Gary Trents, who's that small forward, small guard ng Blazers, mga Anthony Simons, mga ganon. They will be hitting all these shots versus the Lakers. But then the Lakers tightened up their defense, picked up Lillard full court.
Yung
Um,
focus yung ng Lakers kasi yung biggest main concern at that time eh.
yeah. Then we started hitting threes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
kahit 12 out of 36, 12 out of 35, at least we're hitting over 10.
Yeah. And
It was easy for Anthony Davis and LeBron James to dominate inside. And, well, KCP bounced back. I think KCP had that 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 assist.
yeah.
Was all on
Quadruple one.
Twitter. Oh, that
Yes.
was all on Twitter.
Was awful then. And then we moved on. Beat them quite easily, 4-1. And we faced the Houston Rockets. Then, another whole new narrative for the media. Small ball, micro ball Rockets are a bad matchup for the big Los Angeles Lakers. And we lost again. We lost game one. Rather handedly, I think that was our worst loss of the playoffs
Almost
by 17 points. I know. So, Andrea, were you worried when we lost
For
game
Rockets,
one?
no. The Rockets, I wasn't really that worried because just because of the makeup of the team of the Rockets, and I knew that even when Lakers lost the first game, I knew it was not the effort wasn't there. It wasn't like 100% effort during the first game, so I wasn't that worried because if they were defending them well and the Lakers still lost, then I would have been worried. But during that time, parang they weren't really chasing the ball. They were just letting James Harden go out and shoot, do his thing. So I wasn't that worried during that time. Plus, I truly believe yung Rockets were not built for a championship team at all. I think they are number one for the regular season, but when it comes to playoffs, that kind of makeup of a team, I believe hindi siya mag-work eh. So yun.
Okay. So, Kennan, were you worried? Um,
uh,
we also lost to the Rockets in the regular season.
yeah,
Uh,
yung Rockets yung for me was the one I was scared the most. Ano kasi they're crazy when James Harden is on fire. James Harden catching fire and si Brody nagiging unstoppable force for some reason even after that injury. And that game one loss didn't help. The Lakers played the exact opposite of how they should. We go back to that frustration factor na baka they let this get to their heads. So yun yung biggest concern ko no second.
yeah, tapos I remember game 2 was still close in the fourth quarter. I think
Yeah,
tabla pa yata.
yeah.
Mm.
So it was so stressful. Then Westbrook started turning the ball over, and
He started
after
for the Lakers.
yeah, after game After game two, it was smooth sailing the rest of the way. Anthony Davis finally realized that PJ Tucker is 6'5".
Ah,
Uh,
yeah, that was the narrative during first game, though, right?
yeah,
That PJ Tucker,
Yeah,
that
PJ Tucker.
Anthony Davis cannot be stopped. I can be stopped.
cannot score
Yeah,
on
Cannot score against a
PJ
smaller
Tucker.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was the movie
Then
narrative.
wait, what game
um
ba yung, anong game ba yung na zero, yan yung ba yung game na zero rebounds
yeah,
in,
game one.
yeah.
Not zero rebounds. That was Denver.
Oh,
He didn't score when guarded by PJ Tucker in game
It
one.
was like 0 points every time PJ Tucker would guard him. Parang
Yeah.
every test,
Uh,
parang there were technicalities kung how do you consider that he's being guarded by PJ
yeah.
Tucker. Yeah.
So in after game one, I think it was in game three or game four when Coach Vogel benched all our bigs, Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee.
started
Ah,
Marquee.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
started Markif Morris, and then playoff Rondo showed up, and then series was over.
Yeah.
Uh, I think they were picking up James Harden full court, leaving Westbrook open for wide open, really wide open threes. Like no one was within 5 feet of Westbrook, and we're like, shoot, okay.
Tapos wala din
And
yung, ano eh, yung Houston Savior Daniel House.
Daniel House, well,
Yung
He was
Savior.
evicted from the bubble.
couldn't, trip niya. Um, and then yun, then we basically ended the Rockets this Rockets team because well off season naglabasan yung mga mga cracks kumbaga sa ano nila, from James Harden, from Russell Westbrook saying he's not happy with the accountability,
Same with
um,
Rivers.
Austin Rivers, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, even Daniel House. Alam mo kung ano reklamo ni Daniel House sa buhay niya kung trabaho lang naman yan
And now
tumira
they're
ng
changing the coach. Diba? They're
yeah.
changing the coach.
Yeah,
Even
so
the
GM.
general manager, GM is stepping down. Daryl Morey
the Lakers had the honor of
dismantling.
dismantling this I like other
Future.
NBA experts have said awful basketball awful basketball to watch. Imagine everyone's passing up wide open jump shots for 3-point shots, wide open layups for taking threes. So
Tawag ko na
ah
dun sa mga Rockets, sa current Rockets, future Sixers.
that glad that basketball team is going to be dismantled. So let's go to the Denver Nuggets, who, well, one of probably the highlights of our season, aside from the Lakers winning the title, it's the Clippers blowing that 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
So, we were all everyone on earth was probably expecting that it's going to be the Lakers and Clippers
Yeah.
sa Western Conference Finals.
Especially the
But
Clippers. They expected that.
yeah, but the Nuggets had other ideas. So let's talk about that series. Um, we won, unlike the previous two series, we won game one quite easily.
Mm.
Dwight Howard got into Nikola Jokic's head, was bullying him, and we were on fire on all cylinders. Then game two, Jokic showed up, and then Anthony Davis made that buzzer-beating three. Kobe,
Kobe.
as we all know right now. What were your thoughts when Davis hit the three, Andrea, in game
That
two?
was that was my favorite. I think aside from the championship game, that was my favorite game in the playoffs. That was really like a. I was thinking we were going to lose, and if we would have lost that game, I would have worried about the Nuggets.
Yeah.
Because it was very close. And even though we won the first game, I think it was there were so many factors. They played longer the series before, but during the second game, it was really super close. It was really very like I thought we were going to lose, and I remember we were chasing them. Parang we were ahead and then they got back to the game. And then sa dulo, we were the ones who were trying to chase the lead from them. So that one, I was super happy about that. I didn't expect that Anthony Davis would be the one to hit that shot. I think that the play was designed for LeBron to really hit it, and then Rondo gave the screen or gave it off to Anthony Davis. So a lot of credit should also go to Rondo for that play actually. So I was super happy with that. I was worried about Nuggets in it during the first game, but after that and the second game, even though it was close, because all games are very competitive. All games were very competitive. I kind of got the feeling that we would always win in the end,
Yeah.
just because of Anthony Davis. Uh, I think Nikola Jokic, although he's really good, he just couldn't measure up to Anthony Davis and all our big guys, Dwight Howard. And it was just Jamal Murray, who I'm a big fan of. Murray, if you, I'm such a big fan of Jamal Murray, but he's the only one who was really struggling to get it to bring out the Nuggets. So for me, I wasn't that worried after game two, but it was good. I think it was pivotal that we won that game two with Anthony Davis' beautiful shot.
Okay, so Kennan, what was your reaction to that awesome Anthony Davis buzzer-beating game-winning three?
Ano eh,
Uh,
ano kasi yung
yeah,
feed ko at that time, merong, I don't know, 30-second delay. So nakita ko na sa Twitter yung nangyari even before I saw it actually transpire. So medyo na-spoil, nauna na yung reaction ko eh. Yeah, but
okay.
it was amazing. You couldn't have written a better ending for that game. And I think that gave me confidence na, 2-0, 2-0 na yung lead. The Nuggets couldn't beat them for 4 games after this. So I was pretty confident na atin na yung series na to. I really wanted the Nuggets to lose as quick as possible because I'm so sorry to say this. I really don't like Jamal Murray. I'm really not a fan of him. Respect his game though, after what he did
And you
2 years ago.
To Lonzo, yeah.
and do
So
you remember, guys? The Nuggets Twitter and Facebook account posted a picture with that said Anthony Davis and the best big man in the
Yeah, 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 yeah.
NBA. So that's maybe karma for them. Uh, we lost game three because I think Jamal Murray scored 40 or something,
Yeah.
yeah,
and I think Anthony Davis. I think that was the game when
yeah,
Davis had
zero
like
rebounds.
zero rebounds
Yeah, not just him,
until
like all our bigs.
yeah, until late. Yeah, all our bigs had like 3 rebounds total. Then we bounced back in game four. Then LeBron, I think dropped 39 or whatever that is in game five to close them out.
Were
Yeah.
you sad though that we didn't meet Clippers in the conference finals?
No, not at all.
It
I
was
mean,
it would have been
I want,
satisfying if we were
yeah,
going to beat them, but nah.
yeah, but it was even more satisfying that Denver Nuggets team eliminated them and Paul
Yeah,
George and
You won.
Kawhi Leonard scoring 0 points in the fourth quarter. Wow. We're all Clippers haters, right? But no one
That
expected that collapse.
yeah.
Even I was even I was expecting them to win game seven. So
that was one of the
ah,
most glorious days in on Twitter. The 2 days
ah,
after the Clippers
Yeah.
lost, I think that was like
uh,
everyone was so happy. Everyone forgot the pandemic
Grabe,
for
yeah,
a while.
everyone had receipts. Yung receive
yeah, receipts all over. Oh, yeah. Okay, just a reminder that ESPN didn't, not one ESPN panel expert or whatever picked the Lakers to win the title except for I think Ramona Shelburne and
Oh yeah.
forgot Dave McMenamin I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
So the the rest of them, well, they can cash in Steve Ballmer's paychecks. Just joking, ESPN.
Allegedly.
Okay. Okay, so we close out the Nuggets with vintage LeBron. Well, should we say vintage is still so good, still the best player in the NBA. So went to the finals against the Miami Heat. So another, I think this is another team we didn't expect to meet.
Yeah.
It was all Bucks, Celtics, even Sixers. Um, so it was quite a surprise to meet the Miami Heat. So before the series started, what was your expectations, Andrea? Were you expecting a sweep or a tough series?
So this was interesting because no one really expected Miami Heat, right? And then because no one expected them, then I was confident, but I was also worried that they could be because they're the underdogs and nothing was expected of them. I was really thinking they could actually bring this to 6 games. So which that is what exactly what happened. I thought it was gonna be close, but even looking at the games, even though they were, but then during the playoffs already, even though some games were pretty close, especially game 5, the rest of the way it was, I think it was very easy. But coming in, just because I also did not watch previously a lot of Miami games. I did not get to see them play except for our games with them. And during that time, you can really see how Tyler and how Bam were really just built different. Parang they were really unafraid. They were taking shots. They weren't playing like Tyler wasn't playing like a rookie. So the only games that I saw before of Miami was with the Lakers, and I think they won one against us, right?
No,
During their
no,
game.
we beat them
Did
both
we?
times.
Ah, we win them.
Yeah,
Okay, but they were. I think one game was quite close.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was at home, right?
Yeah. So parang for me,
We
I
won
didn't
by three.
know. Yeah. So I didn't know what to expect with the Miami Heat. So that's the only worry that I had. But I was pretty confident we will win it. But I was thinking 6 games, not really 6 or 5 games, but not a sweep.
How about you, Kennan? Were you expecting another 4-1 or a sweep?
The Heat were an interesting team for me because, first of all, they're one of the non-Laker teams that I actually like. Nothing to do with
Why do you like Why do you like other teams?
just in case,
East naman daw.
like
East.
I don't like any other teams.
I like them for some reason. Their jerseys are nice.
Supposed Filipino, part Filipino, so okay, I'll give you a pass.
At that time, I didn't know what to expect kasi I like them. I didn't watch a lot of Heat games, so I didn't know what to expect. Especially, to be honest, I didn't know. I only knew Bam played at an All-Star level close to the actual All-Star weekend. I never paid attention to them, so I didn't know what to expect. But they beat the Bucks in 5.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, gentleman sweep. So, medyo doon ako na worry if ever we face them kasi mukhang solid sila. I was thinking LeBron James is in the finals. He's not going to waste this opportunity. So I wasn't too worried. I had
Yeah.
Lakers in 5 or 6.
So game 1 happens. I think the Heat were up by 13 early.
Mhm.
But what at the time I was whoa, we're in a battle because I think this was the deepest team that we were facing.
Mhm.
And then we came back. Then we were up by 13 or 14. Then Goran Dragic got injured. Then in the second half,
Bummer for me.
Bam Adebayo got injured. So it was smooth sailing for the first 2 games. The hit zone, I think we took an NBA Finals record or Lakers team record for most threes in a game.
Yeah,
I think
yeah. I
we
think
took
team record.
47, 45, I don't
Team
know.
record, yeah.
But we still won game 2 pretty handily. Then game 3, Jimmy Butler happened.
Yeah.
That was
I think that was
30-point triple double.
Yep.
Yeah. Um,
That was the showdown
then
with LeBron, right?
yeah.
That was the game
uh,
with the showdown.
no, that's game 5. That was
Yeah,
game
game
5.
five, game five. Yeah.
Then game 4, LeBron said it was a must win, so we won to take control of the series. Then that LeBron James versus Jimmy Butler battle in game 5 that culminated with a missed 3-point shot by wide open 3-point shot by Danny Green.
Whew.
And, we can put emphasis on wide open. It was really wide open. And then Marcus Morris for some reason threw the ball away for I don't know what was he thinking. So going to game six, were you worried that the Heat are getting healthy? Adebayo's back. Gordon Dragic was playing. So were you worried going to game six, Andrea?
No, LeBron was playing on another level during that time already. That was coming after the game five, wherein he was basically, I mean, he's the best player. He's the best player in the league. And he was going back to back with Jimmy Butler with shots, and I knew that he or Jimmy Butler could not sustain that. It was just not
Yeah.
sustainable the way that they were playing him. So no, I was not worried, and then that's why I was really and but this is where the social media narratives come in. That's why I was I was trying too hard to understand why people were so mad about the missed shots, because we were going to win the next day, or we were going to win the
Exactly.
next game anyway. So that's why I was like, well, why are people so hung up on it? And then because I also knew that I think there was also the news was coming out that Goran was gonna come back in game six, and I knew he was not 100% as well. So I didn't think that would add or change the game, the landscape of the game for the first few games anyway. So I wasn't that worried. I knew during that time that Lakers were already going to win the championship, even if it stretched up to game 7. I knew it would still be the Lakers, with just because, and this is where I think I never knew about this before. That's the comfort of having LeBron James in your team. It was like no matter what happens, I think you were just like, oh, let
Yeah.
them play, let them play. LeBron James would come in, step in, and just really be his king self. Yeah.
So about you, Kennan, were you part of the petition to not give Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma a championship ring? Like this, some of this. Sorry for the language, but some of these idiots signed.
No, no, I didn't. I didn't even see that. But that's weird. That's weird. Yeah, I was already feeling good even before tip off of Game Six. I knew this was our game. I wasn't worried at all. Confidence level is at 110%.
So going to game six, I was well. I was worried in the sense that I think Anthony Davis, sprained his shin or
I was
whatever.
worried. Yeah, yeah.
So
That was Game
that
Five.
was yeah. So that was my only worry, that the more this series lags on,
Yeah,
maybe the injuries will catch up to us. Um, but then game six happened. Anthony Davis was dominant on defense. LeBron James was um, bullying everybody. I think that the game that Tyler Hero was wiped out of
yeah,
the
that was it.
floor. And of course, probably playoff Rondo's finest moment.
Yeah.
I think he started the game 9 out of 9. So how can you beat? We were up by like 40.
Ano kasi,
Mm.
Uh,
halata na
that game.
sa mukha ni LeBron na uwing-uwi na siya eh.
Yeah, there was this running joke na
Kapagalitan si Bronny.
Bronny James get a spanking. So, well, in the end, we won the title. LeBron James won his fourth NBA title, fourth Finals MVP.
Mhm.
Rajon Rondo, second player to win
Yeah,
for
with the
both the Celtics and the Lakers. Well, he's probably the best player to win for
yeah,
both the Lakers and the Celtics.
honestly, I don't know who the first is.
And I don't care what Bill Simmons says. We have 17 NBA titles, not 12. We're
That's
tied now with the Boston Celtics.
such a weird thing to argue.
Yeah. So, so again, like I said, the Los Angeles Lakers are the 2019-2020 NBA champions. So